Welcome to our January edition of Let's Get Growing. And in January there are many things that we need to do because we're preparing for spring. And don't forget, you'll be planting vegetables in February. Well, in January you'll still be mowing grassy weeds and your cool season grasses as needed. Make sure not to bag it, you'll add it to the compost pile. Well, in January, we'll want to start the major pruning of trees, and there's 3 little rules that we have. That's dead and diseased wood first, anything that's crossing and rubbing, and then open up the middle of the tree so light can get through. In January, you'll also want to spray dormant oil on your red oak, pecan, crabapple, euonymus, holly, and camellia, particularly if you saw serious infestations last year. We'll also want to fertilize our winter annuals, and that would be with a balanced fertilizer, 13, 13, 13, 18, 18, 18, and make sure that you cut that amount they have on the label in half. Now we're going to want to mulch any bare soil because remember that's going to moderate soil temperature and help us maintain moisture. The main thing though is it'll keep those weed seeds from germinating. So mulch all our bare spots and newly planted areas. January and February are still great times to plant trees and shrubs. You're pushing it when you get into March. You'll want to prune your summer blooming trees and shrubs at this time so that we'll have those blooms in the summer, and those would include your crepe myrtles. But there's some shrubs that you do not want to prune at this time, and those are your spring blooming shrubs, and those include forsythia, holly, azaleas, mock orange, hawthorn, quince, and spirea. And last but not least, remember, feed the birds. Well, today's demonstration is going to be about how to repot a spathiphyllum. This is what we also call sometimes a closet plant or a peace lily because they have the white flowers. The difference between this one and the one you usually get is this one is going to grow up and have extremely large leaves on it. It's in this poor condition because it kept wilting in this little pot. This is the decorative container that's going to go into the office because it matches the decor. So this pot has no hole in it. So this is what we call a decorative container. We can't plant into a pot without a hole. So we take the pot and measure. Now I'm above the edge of this, and that's quite all right because we are going to decorate the outer edge with some Spanish moss. And this hides a lot of sins. And let's pull it out and see how it was installed. Oh, okay, we had saucer in here, and this is what we call a deep dish saucer. But as you can see, there might have been a few cracks in it that would have led to water leaking out. So let's look at the condition of this plant. Oh, we can see we've got a great white netted root system. So these little green balls that you see are actually fertilizer. The white that you see is actually perlite, and that improves drainage. So what we're going to do is take off any dead foliage near the bottom. If it won't come off easily, then just leave it. Eventually it'll come off. And we're just going to help it along by repotting it from this smaller container into this larger container. So now that I've got a little bit of soil in the bottom to get it to the proper height in this pot, I'm going to take this, rough it up just a little bit, and put it into the container. Now I'm going to start out using the soil that was left over from the original. We have just a little opening around the edge that we're going to fill with potting soil. And this is going to give us a little bit more room for the plant to grow. And I'm going to go ahead and use the old saucer because remember, I don't have to worry. We don't have to worry. This container has no holes in it. And then we'll pick this one up, place it in. There. Carefully. And then we take our moss. Oh, let's not forget our rendition of Rascal the Raccoon in the Holiday Spirit. Now we have a beautiful closet plant or spathiphyllum that'll grow in this pot for at least 2 more years before we have to repot it again. And that's a wrap on our January edition of Let's Get Growing. It may be a little cold outside, but remember, a little bit of work now is going to save a whole lot of work when it's hot.